here's something interesting. What do you know about Pepe as a totem? Have you heard this story? Or this, this little idea?
This whole Pepe thing came out maybe about 10 months or a year after the penny dropped for me on politics as religion. So it was super interesting, and it was completely unsurprising, because when you see that there's this technology for synchronizing the actions of individuals, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And this technology is applied to all sorts of organizations that are intended to synchronize the actions of individuals, from churches, to states, to companies. And the recipe goes something like this. It's the totemic tribe recipe. You raise a totem, you come up with a story around it, a sort of like a characteristics, maybe, like Zappo shoes, we're super funky, we're super good to our employees, so on. You imbue that totem with as much energy as you can, and you come up with a code around it, which is essentially, in a lot of simple cases, it's just the operating procedures for your employees.
Okay.
And
like with McDonald's.
Right.
Yeah.
You have codes of conduct.
The golden arches, and Ronald McDonald is Jesus Christ, and Hamburger is the devil. And
really? I haven't actually got into that.
That's what I've heard.
But the raw technology of it, whether you're starting a religion, a state, or a company, is you raise a totem, you rally people around it, you articulate a code of conduct, or code, or a law, or rules, if you prefer. There's a catch-all term, rules, and you use that to synchronize the actions of individuals. Okay, it's obviously stood the test of time, and it's been tweaked and enhanced. Like with separating the totem from the leader and so on. It's gone through various upgrades and iterations, but essentially that's the technology for synchronizing the actions of individuals. So you start to see it everywhere. Now, there's a big difference, obviously, between a company, which is like doing a very similar thing. You're erecting a totem, you're picking a logo, I don't know, maybe it's a cloud or something, and you synchronize the actions of individuals around that. There's a big difference between a company, which you're essentially putting an offer on the table, people buy into it or don't, employees join it or leave, and so on, and an organization like that is imposing itself on people, where you're not voluntarily subscribing to its services, it's coercing you, and so on. And that's the difference between, I say, a good organization and a bad organization. It's one important. It's compulsion. It's the use of force.
It's a very basic distinction. Back to Pepe. So if for the people who haven't seen this theory, there's a website talking about chaos magic. One key component of chaos magic is sigil magic, or the magic of symbolism, I suppose. So when you get your symbol out in the world in certain places and people recognize it, that gives power to your symbol. So just like with McDonald's golden arches, that logo has a certain power to it. And there's obviously a big question whether it's just part of psychology or whether it's something with external reality, like some kind of spiritual thing. But the point is, it's true. These symbols do have power. So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I would just say, just don't forget your train of thought. But I would just say two things. First of all, no matter how materialistic you are, you have to admit it has the power of recognition, and then recognition invokes certain feelings,
emotions,
behaviors, so on.
Yeah.
So in a very real sense, it can drive behavior. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
The mere sight of a symbol.
Yeah. So before there was a bunch of people on 4chan, and they branched off from 4chan and go on various social media sites and everything, and they were posting these pictures of Pepe, the frog,
the breast frog.
Which is a character from comic. Kek. So Kek is a thing which came from, I think, from World of Warcraft, because the way that Koreans write instead of writing lol, they write kek.
Yeah.
So when
It's
they're
the
laughing,
LOL
they
of
put
Korea,
KKK or they put kek. And it so happens that kek is also the name of an Egyptian deity or like an Egyptian symbol. Yeah. I've heard that it's not exactly a god. It's more like an archetype, but it depends. Yeah,
it's the archetype of the border between order and chaos. I think.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
Peterson says that it's as an amphibian and it's a water and a land dweller. It kind of has a foot in each world.
Yes.
It has a foot in the world of the water and of earth, of chaos and of order, and because it can be or is alleged to be in some cases hermaphroditic.
Yes.
It's also like got a foot in both sexes,
Right,
and that
right.
that's why it's a symbol of a chaotic kind of force.
Yes, yes. And the strange thing was, they were promoting Pepe as this sort of hate speech figure. He would be redrawn with swastikas on his
Flustered and
bicep.
talks about boys' muscles.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. So the thing was, Hillary Clinton came out and made this speech talking about, we can't allow Pepe, we can't allow these symbols of hate speech, and it all seemed very bizarre, because why would she be so animated about something, just a cartoon character which is being shared on the internet? But when you put it in the context of this symbolism and talking about bringing something to reality using the power of symbols or sigils, then it starts to make sense why Hillary would be very angry.
She should
about
know
it. Yes,
how the
exactly.
shit works, being a witch herself.
Yes.
Or
I'm sure she has some understanding of it. So that puts the whole thing into context. The other thing which kind of clicked to me the other day, like you were saying, this character who comes from chaos. If you look at the internet, I think most people would agree the most chaotic place on the internet is 4chan.
4chan, yeah.
Because it's an anonymous image board.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily need to be one person or one thing. You never know exactly if one person is speaking to you or multiple people are.
Right.
So that would be a chaotic place. So
Right.
if some kind of entity from another world wanted to manifest into this one, and especially a being of chaos, like some kind of trickster god, that would be the place.